Christopher Frederick, 221475. And appearance, counsel?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Christopher Semke, appearing on behalf of my client. At this time, we consent to the matter being heard via Zoom. As the arraignment, I've had an opportunity to review the charges and the maximum penalties, so we waive formal reading. My client stands mute.
All right, thank you. The court's going to waive the formal reading. Sir, your name for the record, please.
Christopher Frederick.
All right, thank you. And sir, you understand that you have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court will appoint one to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also understand that you do have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You also understand that you have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing may be used against you in court. Do you understand those rights?
Ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. And you did have an opportunity to speak to an attorney today in a breakout room, correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
All right, the court's going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Schedule this matter for probable cause conference on August 17th at 9:20 a.m. And as to bond counsel, and then I'll give detective an opportunity to review.
Your Honor, I do understand that my client had a warrant for this outstanding scenario, which he is a habitual offender. But Judge, he just was in the Redford District Court where he posted a bond for $1,500, and it's my understanding that that $1,500 was the entirety of the savings that he had, and he was unaware that he had an outstanding case here. That being said, Judge, he has a strong family support system. He does live with his mother, but he is gainfully employed. He graduated high school in 2001. He doesn't have any children. He doesn't have anything that would preclude him from appearing in court, and he was unaware of this particular scenario, but he would like to get it concluded as soon as possible. Considering that he just spent $1,500 in Redford, I am going to be respectfully requesting consideration for a personal bond, allowing him to return to work. Obviously, he has an uphill battle, and potentially if these cases result in a plea or convictions, he's going to have to pay court fees as well as additional costs that will need to be solidified by having gainful employment. So I would respectfully request any leniency in that determination. I understand that based on the habitual, it's usually declined for personal bond, but I'd ask you to consider that he did just post a sizable bond, and of the means that he has, they are limited to go any further. Thank you for that consideration, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And what was the matter? He was just in the 17th District Court for?
Unfortunately, Judge, I do not have the facts or the charges that stem from the Redford District Court. I knew that he was in that court, but I couldn't specifically articulate what they're for.
All right, thank you. Okay, and so Mr. Frederick, what were you just in the 17th District Court for?
I was just, there was no reason. I had no charges on me.
Oh, no, listen, sir, listen.
Yes, ma'am.
It is late on Friday at the end of the week. Do not tell me you don't know that you were just there. There's a reason you were there. You don't go to court and have to post a bond just because. That's not how that works.
No, they said I had a warrant, but the reason I was sitting on my porch and they had a dispute down the street from my house, and I was sitting on my porch and they was flashing the light up and down our block, and they just came up to me on my porch and they said they asked for my ID, and I gave it to him, and he said I had a warrant.
And so you don't know what that warrant was for?
No, ma'am, I didn't at the time.
Okay, at the time of your arrest, then you were in court where the judge had to tell you, or your attorney had to tell you what the warrant was for. So what was it for?
Probation violation, I think.
And what are you on probation for?
For that, my first is driving offense. For the my first OWI that I had caught.
That's correct, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to review the case stemming out of 2022. It looks like he had a bench warrant in front of Judge Khalil, in which he has a balance with the court for $2,700, and then there was a bond posted. But it looks like it was an operating while intoxicated charge that was reduced to an impaired. I just had an opportunity to do a search through the case search to verify what the situation was.
Thank you. Okay, and so, sir, you're on probation for that offense, correct?
Yes.
And when were you sentenced in that matter? Does it show that, Mr. Shumke? You might know that a little bit sooner.
I'm looking, Judge, but I'll read. Well, right now, Judge, it appears that he's scheduled for a probation violation hearing on September 6th. His sentencing was on November 8th of 2022. He was sentenced to 24 months in probation, 24 months probation, 14 days community service, and then the normal terms conditions associated. With him posting the bond, his next court date in Redford is September 6th at 8:45 a.m.
All right, thank you. And does it also indicate, was he arraigned around April 24th or 25th of 2022?
I could scroll, Judge, there's 205 events that would take a while to scroll back through to determine. Okay. I can't say what those are regarding, but I don't know exactly that particular answer to that question.
All right, thank you. The reason I asked that is because then he was arrested in this manner on July 24th of 22, presumably while he was out on bond on that case. All right, and sir, you don't work? Oh no, you do work.
That's what.
But you don't earn any money? You work for free?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir. It says Industries Steel is where you work, and
yes,
income you have zero. You don't have any money listed for your pay.
Oh, I make $18 an hour.
What's that?
I make $18 an hour.
How many hours do you work?
40 a week.
40 a week. Okay. Okay, and I'm sorry.
Judge, to answer your question, he was arraigned at the Redford District Court October 11th of 2022.
Okay, so you've been arrested in this matter, presumably waiting for, or arrested in April 24th, presumably waiting for blood results or a warrant to come back. I don't know, but all right. And Detective, your name for the record, please.
Detective Steve Sable, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Would you like to address bond?
I would, Your Honor. I believe with the assaultive nature of this felony complaint as well, the $20,000 10% is not unreasonable. Like Mr. Shemke added about the habitual status, not showing up for court. I have an issue with that, with his criminal history, and a GPS and alcohol teller I think is appropriate in this matter. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And sir, are you, do you have any other pending cases that you can recall?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
All right, in this matter, well, let's see. You have in 2019, you have an operating while visibly impaired. And then in April of 22, you were charged with the matter that you're currently on probation for. And then in July of 22, you were charged in the matter that you are in front of this court for. You failed to complete probation, or you failed to comply with some terms of probation and failed to appear, so there was a warrant issued for your arrest. And you don't have a valid license, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so you have a history of not appearing, and you knew you didn't appear for your probation issue, correct?
I'm sorry.
The warrant that was issued for your probation violation was for what purpose, sir? Because you didn't appear?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you knew that you needed to appear. All right. If you were to test today, sir, What would be in your system?
Nothing, ma'am.
All right. Here's what the court's going to do. The court's going to indicate, based upon what the court stated on the record, the fact that you have a history of failing to appear, the assaultive nature of this matter, the fact that this is now technically the third alcohol-related offense, albeit it's not charged the third because you didn't have the other matter as a conviction at that point. The court does find a $20,000 10% bond is appropriate. In the event you postpone, you're not to be released without GPS and alcohol tether. And you are not to possess or consume the alcohol or drugs. I understand, sir, you just posted a $1,500 bond in the city of Redford because you failed to appear for probation violation, I'm sorry, for the Redford District Court. However, this matter has been pending and this court, given your failure to appear, wants to make sure you're going to appear in court and you're not going to be consuming alcohol based upon the allegations in your criminal history. We'll see you on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Off the record. Thank you, Mr. Shensky.